When the Super Bowl came to you, they go, well, why don't you share the stage with Shakira and Gloria Estefan?
Right.
And Gloria said no.
Yep.
Did you see that as an insult?
For me, it was always such a dream to do it.
Imagine two of the biggest Latina icons stepping into the spotlight together, throwing their weight behind a Puerto Rican artist who's about to headline the most watched musical moment in US TV, the Super Bowl 60 halftime show. It sounds like a celebration, but behind the confetti is a clash of culture, language, and identity, sparking outrage among conservative circles who see more than just a performance. This is celebrity news, but also a flashpoint in the larger media frenzy where entertainment meets politics and inclusion meets backlash.
The NFL just chose the Bad Bunny Rabbit or whatever his name, this guy who hates ICE. He doesn't like you. He accuses everything he doesn't like of racism. Do you think maybe we should just kind of entertain blowing off the NFL, like a boycott or something along those lines?
What happens next could change the way we think about big stage music, representation, and who gets to decide what America watches. On September 28, 2025, the Super Bowl 60 halftime show headline was officially announced. Bad Bunny, born Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, would lead the event at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California on February 8, 2026. The decision came through a joint release by the NFL, Apple Music, and Rock Nation, the entertainment agency led by Jay-Z. Bad Bunny's rise to this moment is rooted in a surge of global influence. By 2025, he had become one of the most streamed and talked about artists in the world, crossing over into fashion, film, and sold out international tours. His January 2025 album David Tirar Mas Photos celebrated Puerto Rican identity and pushed his global reach even further. But this halftime show announcement stood out for another reason. Bad Bunny predominantly performs in Spanish, and he's been unapologetic about representing Latin culture on a global stage. In his own words, "This is for my people, my culture, and our history. Tell your grandmother." We're the Super Bowl halftime show. The decision wasn't just about star power, it was symbolic. It represented a moment where the NFL, long criticized for a lack of diversity in its major events, embraced an artist whose music, language, and message break from traditional mainstream expectations. A superstar at his peak was about to take the biggest stage in America, and that's where the cultural storm began.
The NFL picked the halftime performer for this year's Super Bowl. It was Bad Bunny. Some people in MAGA world are not happy about it. Mary, Bad Bunny is one of the most streamed artists, not just in the United States, in the world.
When Bad Bunny was announced as the headliner for the Super Bowl 60 halftime show, the story immediately exploded beyond entertainment headlines. What should have been a celebration of a global superstar reaching the biggest stage in American television quickly turned into one of the most divisive celebrity moments of the year. The announcement alone carried weight. Bad Bunny would become the first artist to perform the show primarily in Spanish. But when two of the most influential Latina icons in music, Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, publicly came out in support of him, the situation erupted into a full-blown cultural and political storm. In an interview published on October 21st, 2025, Shakira spoke with pride and nostalgia, saying, "It's about time. I remember when we did ours that even having part of our set in Spanish was a bold move. Acceptance of Spanish language music as part of the mainstream has come so far from when I started." She continued, "I'm so proud that Bad Bunny, who represents not only Latin culture but also how important Spanish language music has become on a global scale, is headlining the show. It's the perfect moment for a performance like this." Her comments framed the event as the natural continuation of what she and Lopez began back in 2020 when they co-headlined their own halftime show, a milestone that celebrated Latin pride while breaking language barriers on live television. Jennifer Lopez also spoke out in defense of Bad Bunny's selection, echoing similar sentiments. In an interview, she said, "Music and art transcend language. The Super Bowl is great because it introduces you to people you don't know. Just give it a chance." She added, "Why? I just don't understand. He's one of the best artists in the world." Her words reflected not only support, but frustration. Frustration with a backlash that seemed, in her eyes, more about identity than talent. Their comments went viral instantly. Latin artists and fans around the world celebrated their unity, seeing it as a sign that representation had finally arrived on one of America's biggest stages. But but the reaction from conservative figures and MAGA-aligned voices was swift and furious. Donald Trump called the NFL's decision crazy and absolutely ridiculous, implying that it was another example of political correctness overtaking American tradition. Conservative commentator Megyn Kelly claimed that choosing Bad Bunny was a middle finger to MAGA and conservatives in this country, while other right-wing personalities accused the NFL of pushing diversity propaganda. Kristi Noem, a prominent Republican and then Secretary of Homeland Security, took it even further, suggesting that ICE agents would be all over the event, the comment widely criticized as racially charged. A petition soon began circulating online, gathering tens of thousands of signatures demanding the NFL replace Bad Bunny with country legend George Strait to restore American culture at the Super Bowl. On social media, right-wing users accused the league of turning its back on English-speaking America, with hashtags like #BoycottTheBowl and #NotMyHalftime trending within hours. Meanwhile, Bad Bunny himself stayed calm amid the chaos. During a lighthearted appearance on Saturday Night Live, he joked, "You have 4 months to learn Spanish," a response that instantly went viral. It wasn't defiance, it was pride. For him, this performance was never political, it was cultural. "This is for my people, my culture, and our history," he said in an earlier statement. But by that point, the controversy had already taken on a life of its own. What began as a musical announcement had turned into a referendum on American identity. Shakira and Jennifer Lopez saw Bad Bunny's headlining moment as a victory for progress, a recognition that Latin artists are not just guests in the global music scene, but leaders. Yet for parts of the political right, it symbolized something else entirely, a loss of cultural dominance, a changing nation they no longer recognized. Within days, a halftime show meant to celebrate music and diversity became a battleground in the ongoing culture war, one where pop stars, politicians, and millions of fans were all drawn into the same conversation about what America really looks and sounds like. The moment Bad Bunny was announced as the headliner for Super Bowl 60's halftime show, the reaction across the United States escalated into a full-scale cultural battle. Conservative commentators and right-leaning media outlets took aim, framing the choice as a break from tradition rather than entertainment. President Donald Trump called the decision crazy and absolutely ridiculous, adding, "I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're doing it." At the same time, petitions began circulating online demanding that Bad Bunny be replaced by a figure more representative of American music heritage. One campaign urged the NFL to select country legend George Strait instead, arguing that the halftime show should celebrate American culture and remain family-friendly. On Fox News, commentators reignited debates over Bad Bunny's previous remarks on U.S. immigration policies, with some suggesting that his performance could spark political controversy rather than unity. Other conservative voices claimed the NFL was prioritizing diversity optics over its traditional audience. Meanwhile, other media outlets and Latin American communities saw the moment as a historic milestone, a celebration of culture and visibility long overdue. Bad Bunny's platform, performing primarily in Spanish on one of the biggest stages in U.S. television, was praised as a symbol of progress and pride. In the end, the halftime show transformed from a musical event into a cultural referendum, a stage where language, identity, and the definition of American collided in real time. What began as an entertainment announcement has evolved into a heated debate about language, culture, and national identity in modern America. The controversy surrounding Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance reveals far more than musical preferences. It exposes a deep cultural divide that has been building for years. At its core, this backlash isn't simply about a Puerto Rican artist singing in Spanish. It's about what that symbolizes. For many Americans, especially within conservative circles, the Super Bowl halftime show has long represented a kind of cultural middle ground, something that everyone, regardless of politics or background, could watch together. But Bad Bunny's appointment challenges that assumption. His unapologetic embrace of Latin identity, his use of Spanish lyrics, and his global influence directly confront the idea that American culture must be English-speaking or narrowly defined. This debate also reflects a generational shift. Younger audiences see Bad Bunny as a global superstar whose music transcends borders, while older, more traditional viewers perceive his selection as an an erosion of national identity. The pushback from MAGA voices isn't just about music, it's about fear of cultural change, a discomfort with a nation that is increasingly multilingual and multicultural. Language in this context becomes symbolic. Performing in Spanish on one of the most watched American broadcasts of the year represents inclusion to some and exclusion to others. It forces the question, who is American enough for the Super Bowl stage? Meanwhile, the support from Shakira and Jennifer Lopez adds emotional depth to the moment. Their backing connects this event to a larger lineage of Latin representation in mainstream media, one that's been hard-won over decades. In the end, this isn't just a concert, it's a mirror reflecting America's cultural transformation, one where diversity and identity are no longer background themes but the main event itself. As the debate surrounding Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance intensified, several high-profile celebrities stepped in, many of them from the music industry, to show their support. Karol G, one of the biggest names in Latin pop, praised him publicly, writing that his halftime performance would be a moment every Latino should be proud of. Camila Cabello called the decision a powerful step for representation, while Maluma shared that Bad Bunny's rise to the Super Bowl stage was proof that our culture can't be ignored anymore. Beyond Latin artists, global stars like Billie Eilish and Post Malone also voiced admiration, applauding his artistry and influence. Ricky Martin said he was proud to see a Puerto Rican breaking walls the world tried to build, while Dua Lipa described him as the face of modern pop culture. Meanwhile, opposition from within the celebrity world was notably quieter. The criticism largely came from political commentators rather than entertainers. Figures like Megyn Kelly and Jason Whitlock denounced the choice, framing it as an agenda-driven move by the NFL. In contrast, the artistic community's reaction was overwhelmingly positive, turning what began as a controversy into a celebration of cultural visibility and pride. In the end, the Bad Bunny Super Bowl controversy isn't just about music, it's about meaning. What began as a performance announcement has become a reflection of America's ongoing struggle with identity, language, and belonging. One artist's opportunity to celebrate his heritage exposed the tension between tradition and progress, between nostalgia for an older America and the reality of a multicultural one. For millions, Bad Bunny's upcoming show symbolizes unity, proof that art can transcend politics and borders. For others, it marks uncomfortable change. But whether praised or condemned, this moment proves one thing: America's stage is evolving, and its story is being sung in more than one language.